Hey friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Salima and I'm super excited to have you here with me today. In this video, I will dive into some new makeup launches that I've tried recently. Now, I know how overwhelming it can be with all these new products hitting the shelves every day. That's why I'm here to lend a helping hand. Not only will I be sharing my honest opinions with these products, but I will also compare them to the products I already have in my collection. So you can make the best decision for you. All right, without any more delay, let's jump right in. All right, let's kick things off with foundation because I've got a bunch to share with you. First up is the new Makeup Forever HD Skin Hydra Glow. I took a trip to the store, swatched a few shades, and settled on two Y36 for myself. What I've noticed is that all their shades with a neutral or yellow undertone pulled orange. So, not exactly the best shade match for me, but I can make it work. Now, Makeup Forever claims this as a hydrating foundation with a glowy, luminous base. On my dry, dehydrated skin, I don't find this to be true at all. It sets down to more of a satin matte finish, which isn't bad, especially during the summer months. But what I don't like about this foundation is that it clings to my dry patches and it doesn't blend well. I don't know where is the Hydra part of this foundation, but it seems to be lost on my skin. I need to prep my skin with something very hydrating underneath, or this foundation will not sink into my skin and can look cakey. I also noticed that this foundation can separate on some parts of my face, like on my nose and on my forehead, if I don't set it with a powder. As the day wears on, it can look makeupy and heavy if you're using too many products on top of it. Not exactly what I was expecting, especially with all the hype on the social media. It feels like Makeup Forever might have missed the mark with this one, trying to keep up with whole skincare infused glowy foundation trend. I much prefer my Nars light reflecting foundation or the Shiseido Essence Skin Glow foundation to perform over the Makeup Forever foundation. If you like a foundation with a naturally radiant finish that feels comfortable to wear, you should try the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. It has a medium coverage, it goes smoothly on the skin, wears well throughout the day without separating. I don't have to worry about setting up my makeup, and after a long day, my makeup still looks fresh. So I highly recommend it. Now, if you're looking for a foundation that gives you that second skin look, then the Shiseido RevitalEssence Skin Glow Foundation is a must try. When I put this on, it's undetectable. It's like my skin but better. I can't even tell it's there. This foundation has the most watery consistency, so it feels incredibly lightweight compared to both NARS and Makeup Forever HD Glow. I also think it's super forgiving on the skin. So if you have got textures or dry patches, it won't accentuate them. The coverage is on the lighter side. Think of it like a lightweight serum with some color to even out your skin tone, give your complexion a little pick me up, and make you look like you're having the best skin day ever. Honestly, it's the kind of quality I would expect from a high end brand like Chanel, but Shiseido knocks it out of the park. Next, let's talk about stick foundations. I picked up the ILIA Skin Rewind Complexion Stick in the shade 27W. Pretty decent color match, I would say. When I first applied it, what I've noticed is that it has more of a stiffer formula. It's not creamy, so it doesn't glide or melt on the skin. I have to pair this with a hydrating primer or a serum or even a sunscreen to help apply and distribute the product on my skin. Because it's not as creamy as I would like, using a brush doesn't provide a seamless blend on my dry skin. I much prefer to go on with a Dem Beauty blender. Having said that, once it's all blended in, I am in love with how it looks. It has a soft, blurred matte finish with no cakiness. It wears well throughout the day. It provides light to medium coverage. My skin looks blurred and beautiful. So if you have combo to oily skin, you will love it. And if you have dry skin like me, as long as you hydrate your skin well, it will apply beautifully and hold up well throughout the day. Another stick foundation I have tried recently is the Anastasia Beauty Balm Skin Tint in shade 11. Let me tell you, this is an ideal stick foundation for someone with dry skin because of how moisturizing and hydrating it feels on the skin. Unlike the ILIA stick foundation, it's got a bit more emollients and slip, so it practically melts onto your skin without any tugging or pulling. At first, I was a bit skeptical. I mean, with how balmy and hydrating it feels, I was worried it wouldn't hold up throughout the day. But guess what? I was pleasantly surprised. This stays put on my dry skin without getting shiny or greasy. In terms of coverage, it's lighter compared to the ILIA foundation stick, so it's perfect for those days when you're going for that no makeup vibe. It will cover up minor spots and even out my complexion, and it leaves my skin with a radiant finish that's just so fresh and natural. Now, if you have got combo to oily skin, you might need to take a few extra steps like setting your face with a powder or using a mattifying primer to avoid any unwanted shine. If you're in need of a stick foundation that provides light coverage and is hydrating and nourishing on the skin, give this one a try. Now let's quickly compare these two new stick foundations to the Fenty Ease Drop Blur Skin Tint. When it comes to how they feel on the skin, the Fenty isn't as stiff as ILIA. ILIA has a thicker consistency, but Fenty is not as emollient and balmy as Anastasia, so it lands somewhere in the middle. Personally, I find it much easy to blend compared to ILIA. Now, in terms of coverage, Fenty is more similar to ILIA, offering a solid medium coverage. Meanwhile, Anastasia leaned more towards the sheer side. Overall, I would say that Fenty Stick Foundation gives a similar look to ILIA on the skin. The main difference is that I don't have to do as much of a skin prep with Fenty. There's no need for extra hydration. So if I'm in a rush, I would reach for Fenty over ILIA. To make it simple, if you have got dry skin and you're after a light coverage foundation for everyday wear, the Anastasia is going to be your go to. If you want a bit more coverage and less of a glow, the Fenty is way to go. And if you've got oily skin or you prefer a soft matte finish, ILIA will be your best bet. It all comes down to what works best for your skin type and your desired look. Now let's dive into Dior Star Filter. I have it in shade 4, and let me just start by saying the packaging is stunning. I'm loving the sleek glass component, plus it comes with a handy pump. So it's a nice change from the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, which comes with a doe foot applicator. I've been using the Dior Star Filter much like I do the Hollywood filter. So just a small amount spread evenly across my face before going on with my foundation or a skin tint. And honestly, they're pretty darn comparable. Dior claims 24-hour hydration with this product, but I don't find it to be noticeably more hydrating on my dry skin compared to the Hollywood Flawless filter. Both of these products have a similar gel-like consistency that just melts into the skin. And when I wore them side by side, I couldn't spot any major differences. They both perform equally well under makeup. When you apply it in a small quantity, like one pump of Dior or a couple of swipes of the Hollywood Flawless filter, they give off that soft, lit from within glow. But when you try to amp up the glow factor, that's when Hollywood Flawless filter can look a bit more sheeny and glowy. I was only able to spot this difference when I was wearing them side by side on my face with no makeup on top. But once you put your foundation or a skin tint on top, you can't even tell the difference. So, in my humble opinion, if you're a fan of Hollywood Flawless Filter, you're definitely gonna enjoy the Dior Star Filter. Personally, I'm thrilled with my purchase because I adore Flawless Filter and I'm running low on it. But the real question is, do you need both? Honestly, I don't think so. They're so similar that you're better off sticking with one or the other. Alright, let's chat about the Lift Tinted Hueguard Skin Tint in shade number 6. This is a mineral sunscreen with SPF 50. Now, I'll be honest, I'm usually not a huge fan of mineral sunscreens because it tends to leave a white cast on my tan complexion. However, this one is tinted, so I was super excited to pick it up. First off, let's talk about packaging. I love this pump style tube. It's super convenient, easy to toss in the bag, and it's perfect for travel. And the shade match is spot on. It's not too orange or not too warm, which is perfect. Now, here's the deal, this product gives you a seriously glowy finish. And you know me, with my dry, dull skin, I can take all the glow. But as the day goes on, I notice that it gets shiny. So I have to set my face with a powder. Not a big deal for me, but if you've got oily skin or if you're living in a hot and humid climate, you might need to take a few extra steps to keep it in check. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you're using this as your sunscreen, you have to use it in the right quantity to get the protection from the sun, which means that we need to use 1/4 teaspoon of this product to get the full SPF 50 coverage. When I tried using it as my sole sunscreen, it was just too much. It stayed wet looking on my skin, didn't set down, and left me looking more greasy and oily than glowy. It also emphasized a lot of my texture and pores. So, in my experience, I will not use this as a sunscreen, but more as a skin tint for some coverage. When I use this as a skin tint on top of my sunscreen and then set it with a powder, it was a whole different story. It covered up all my blemishes and redness, left my skin looking glowy and healthy, and gave me added sun protection. So it's definitely worth checking out as long as you manage your expectations and you use it the right way. The last complexion product that we will talk about before moving to some bronzers is the TirTir Cushion Foundation. It is not a new launch, but it's new to my collection. I got this about a month ago and I thought to share my experience with you guys. TirTir is a Korean brand, and this cushion foundation went viral on social media a while ago. Long story short, I love this cushion foundation with one big caveat. This gives a solid medium coverage, so you don't need to use too much to cover hyperpigmentation or redness on the skin. The finish is immaculate. It adds a natural glow and makes my skin look smooth and flawless. Now, here is the issue, it comes in 9 shades, and I have it in shade 29 and natural beige, which is the darkest shade. So, if you're any darker than I am, you will not be able to find a shade for yourself. For people who have lighter skin tones, please keep in mind that this foundation has a tendency to oxidize and get one shade darker. So just keep that in mind when you're picking out your shade. Shade 29N oxidizes to match me perfectly. I can't help but wish that they would expand their shade range and undertones, especially for products that are sold globally. After all, not everyone has lighter skin tones, and it's important for everyone to feel represented in the beauty world. Okay, now let's talk about bronzers. I picked up the SIMIHAZE Skin Suede Melting Bronze Balm in the shade Oak 3 when I was in store during the Sephora VIB sale. I was intrigued because the packaging looks so compact and travel friendly. As soon as I dipped my fingers into the pen, The texture reminded me of my all-time favorite, the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer. So of course, I have to give it a try. Now that I have used it for several times, I can tell you that it gives similar results as the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer and the Merit Bronze Balm. All three of these products are perfect to warm up your complexion and get a natural sun kissed look. What I adore about these types of bronzers is that they're incredibly forgiving when it comes to application. I don't need to be precise at all. The finish of these products, as well as the shade and the undertones, are perfect for mimicking natural warm glow on the skin. They're super easy to use, very beginner friendly. Now, if I had to pick out differences between them, I would say that SIMIHAZE is definitely more pigmented and less glowy compared to the Merit and the Makeup by Mario options. I find Merit Bronze Balm and the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer to be very similar. It's like Merit is a stick version of the Skin Enhancer. Now, shade wise, you can see that Simi Haze has a red undertone, which can sometimes look unnatural on me, but because it shears out, this shade adds a nice warmth and depth to my complexion. Merit and Makeup by Mario has a warm golden undertones and they don't make me look muddy at all. I love all three of these products. If you want more pigment, less glow, go for Simi Haze. And if you don't mind a sheer bronzer with a natural glow, then go for either a skin enhancer or the Merit Bronze Balm. Another bronzer I picked up is the Ciele Sculpt and Protect SPF 30 Plus Bronzing Contour Stick. Such a mouthful. I love Ciele as a brand. Really enjoy their serum foundation and blushes. All of their makeup has high sun protection. They use mineral sunscreen agents, so it's good for people with sensitive skin. Their formulas are elegant, and so is the packaging. I picked up their sculpting stick in the shade medium too. The packaging on this feels cheap. It's a plastic component, something I would expect from a drugstore brand, not from CL. Anyways, moving on to the product itself, I like how it goes on the skin. It's not as balmy and slippery as the Merit Bronze Stick. The texture and feel of this product reminds me of the Westman Atelier Contour Stick. They both have similar pigmentation and finish on the skin. Unlike the Merit Bronzer, which has a glowy finish, CL and Westman Atelier have a natural finish on the skin. If I were to compare the shades, I have Rich Mocha in Westman Atelier and Medium 2 in CL, and I feel like CL is slightly warmer compared to Rich Mocha. I also like that it is such a slim stick, so you can be precise with your application if you want. Overall, I love this product. It looks good on the skin, has SPF 30, closer in performance to the Westman Atelier Contour Stick, which is a very expensive product. So definitely worth checking out. CL has not disappointed. Let's wrap things up with the Tower 28 LipSoftie in the shade Ube Vanilla. At this point, I think every brand has its version of lip balm. And hey, I'm not complaining. I love lip balms. And I've got almost all of them. But this one is not my favorite. The thing that I disliked about it the most is that the formula is very liquidy. When I reach for a lip balm, I expect something with a bit more substance, more body, more emollients, Because of its thin consistency, it doesn't stick around for long. I don't hate the applicator, but with this kind of formula, it makes the application messy. I much prefer the Ole Henriksen peptide lip treatment if you're looking for a truly nourishing lip balm with decent pigment. It has a slightly thicker consistency, so if you don't like that, my next recommendation would be to try the Notorium Phyto Glow Lip Balm. It is not as thick as Ole Henriksen, but still comfortable and nourishing on the lips. They've got a bunch of colors to choose from, so you're sure to find one that suits your vibe. And that wraps up today's video. If you've enjoyed hanging out with me and diving into all these products, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on future content. I love sharing reviews and comparisons, so be sure to check out my other videos if you want more. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye for now.